Today we're stepping into a time machine and rewinding to the 1970s, a decade when bell-bottoms, disco tunes, and experimental holiday dishes filled American homes. Christmas gatherings back then often featured appetizers that feel quite foreign to modern palates. These retro starters were once holiday staples, but have since drifted into culinary obscurity. Number 1. Pineapple cheese ball centerpieces. In many households during that era, these edible sculptures were often assembled days before festive gatherings to allow every element to meld. Hosts placed them on vintage ceramic stands or reflective trays, sometimes illuminating them with small decorative fairy lights. The presence of tangy fruit contributed more than just flavor. It carried a subtle hint of tropical allure that felt adventurous at the time. Careful consideration went into selecting the pineapple's texture, with tidbits or finely chopped chunks ensuring a delicate balance. Sweetness needed to integrate seamlessly with the dairy component to prevent overwhelming the palate. Some home entertainers experimented by incorporating subtle spices, such as mild paprika or delicate chives, blending them in carefully to highlight contrasting notes. Occasionally, finely grated citrus zest provided a gentle brightness, while certain variations substituted standard nuts with sunflower seeds or crushed pretzels for an unexpected crunch. These centerpieces were rarely served alone. They accompanied an assortment of crisp crudités, slender breadsticks, or artisanal crackers. They appeared more refined when garnished with colorful cherry tomatoes or slender carrot curls, creating a layered, eye-catching display that tempted guests to engage in conversation. The intent was to impress friends and neighbors, offering something that felt both sophisticated and comforting. Before formal dinners, these creations encouraged visitors to mingle around the coffee table, chatting casually while scooping small portions with slender spreaders. Some retro cookbooks encouraged experimenting with different dairy bases, including those incorporating mild white cheddar or gentle Colby, resulting in varied textures and densities. Hostesses prided themselves on originality and occasionally adapted the recipe for themed events, swapping pineapple for other fruits like finely minced dried apricots or subtly sweet dates, though pineapple remained the most iconic element. Ultimately, these centerpieces functioned as culinary decor, bridging the gap between novelty and nourishment, embodying a moment in culinary history when experimentation, visual impact, and communal enjoyment merged seamlessly. Number 2, deviled ham spreads. Deviled ham spreads relied on finely pulverized cooked ham, combined with richly seasoned blends that included subtle hints of mustard, gentle traces of cayenne, and occasional dashes of ground clove. Certain households preferred mellowing the mixture by folding in softened butter instead of heavier dressings, achieving a silkier texture that adhered neatly to thin slices of crisp baguette. Kitchens experimenting with unique accents introduced minced sweet pickles or finely chopped pimentos, ensuring a delicate interplay of savory depth and tangy brightness. Some enthusiasts achieved extra creaminess through blending in tiny portions of whipped cottage cheese, producing a lighter consistency without overshadowing the ham's inherent smoky undertones. Beyond the holiday season, many served deviled ham spreads at informal brunches, garnishing them with slender scallions or crushed pecans for a nuanced crunch. Culinary magazines of the period frequently published tips for enhancing the flavor profile. Suggestions ranged from adding a few drops of Worcestershire sauce for complexity to stirring in a pinch of nutmeg to evoke a gentle warmth. Adventurous hosts occasionally incorporated a small amount of sherry or a mild brandy, yielding a sophisticated edge ideal for adult gatherings. Presentation varied widely, with some shaping the spread into decorative forms using molded containers, then accentuating each shape with slivers of red bell pepper arranged artfully on top. Storing it in covered ceramic crocks allowed the flavors to mingle overnight, resulting in a more harmonious taste. Its lasting appeal arose from convenience, affordability, and the ability to be tailored with creative ingredients, capturing a moment when innovation and resourcefulness influenced festive appetizers. Number 3. Shrimp-molded aspics. Shrimp-molded aspics required careful layering of flavors, often starting with unflavored gelatin dissolved in a seasoned broth that incorporated mild aromatics, such as bay leaves and whole peppercorns, simmered briefly in a light seafood stock. The chosen shrimp were typically medium-sized, meticulously peeled and deveined, then lightly poached until just tender. Some recipes advised incorporating a small amount of white wine or subtle herb vinegars to provide nuanced depth, ensuring the resulting gelatin never tasted flat. Precision mattered when distributing each shrimp evenly throughout the mold so that no slice looked sparse. Many home cooks arranged small decorative elements like finely shredded lettuce leaves, cucumber slices, or minced scallions at the bottom of the mold before adding the gelatin, creating intricate patterns revealed once the aspic was unmolded. Timing played a critical role. Chilling intervals demanded patience so that the first gelatin layer partially set before gently adding shrimp and other garnishes. Some experimented with adding hints of ground celery seed or a splash of mild lemon juice to brighten the overall profile. Presentation tools included specialty molds shaped like shells or lobsters, elevating the visual appeal. Serving options varied. Some set out slender cheese knives for slicing, while others presented neat wedges alongside tangy remoulade or light remoulade-inspired sauces. Balancing salt levels was crucial. Excessive seasoning risked overshadowing the delicate sweetness of the shrimp. Storing these aspics in well-chilled compartments ensured their texture remained firm but not rubbery. This precise interplay of flavor, texture, and artistry captured a culinary moment, emphasizing elegant novelty. Number 4. Cocktail meatballs in sweet sauces. Cocktail meatballs in sweet sauces emerged from a culinary environment emphasizing quick preparation, adaptable flavors, and visually appealing presentations. Ground beef or mild pork formed the base, blended with breadcrumbs, beaten egg, and finely milled seasonings like dried minced onion or mild garlic powder for a tender bite. Browning these small spheres in a lightly oiled pan or baking them until just firm ensured a pleasing texture before submerging them into thick, sugary glazes. Sweet components varied widely. Apricot jam, pineapple preserves, or even a subtle mix of cranberry jelly and mild mustard appeared in different households, creating layered, unexpected pairings. Some cooks reduced cola or root beer with a hint of vinegar, producing a unique syrup that clung to every morsel. Others experimented with adding gentle spice notes, such as a pinch of ground mace or a whisper of smoked paprika, to balance the sugary base. Maintaining warmth played a pivotal role, with small electric buffet pots or decorative chafing dishes used to keep each portion at the ideal serving temperature. Eye-catching toothpicks, often adorned with colorful frills, transformed these appetizers into effortless finger foods. Their aroma mixed sweet caramelized sugars and roasted meat juices, appealing to those who craved comforting richness at social gatherings. To achieve the perfect consistency, cooks adjusted thickness by simmering the sauce slowly until it gently lacquered the surface. Leftover sauces thickened overnight, intensifying flavors for subsequent servings. Influential cookbooks, magazine articles, and recipe pamphlets from ingredient manufacturers encouraged experimentation, leading to countless personal twists on this single concept. Beyond taste, cocktail meatballs embodied a playful culinary spirit that welcomed invention, flexibility, and easy sharing, encapsulating a moment when sweet-savory snacks captured attention and invited friendly conversation among guests. Number 5. Velveeta-based cheese concoctions. Velveeta-based cheese concoctions often began with small bricks carefully diced or grated into uniform pieces for even melting over gentle heat. Home cooks discovered that mixing this product with condensed tomato soup or mild pepper sauces created creamy blends possessing a silky gloss not easily replicated with natural cheeses. Some recipes introduced finely chopped, canned mushrooms or artichoke hearts, ensuring a subtle vegetal note balancing the intense creaminess. A delicate stir of mild Worcestershire sauce imparted a savory depth, while a spoonful of mild prepared horseradish provided a modest spike of brightness without overwhelming the overall richness. Achieving the right consistency demanded steady attention. Too much liquid could result in a runny dip that failed to cling to crackers, while too little created a thick, gummy texture that dulled the palate. Adding finely shredded crab meat or delicate flakes of canned salmon occasionally appeared in more adventurous kitchens, transforming these cheese-based mixtures into unexpectedly elegant party spreads. Some cooks folded in delicate chopped nuts, ensuring a contrasting crunch that surprised guests. Texture played a crucial role in sustaining interest, so timing and temperature adjustments mattered. A low, consistent flame or a double boiler technique ensured gradual melting without scorching. Utilizing small, slow cookers allowed these blends to remain molten throughout a party, inviting repeated tasting as conversations flowed. Vibrant garnishes, including thinly sliced green onions or tiny curls of pickled jalapeno, served to brighten the otherwise monochromatic appearance. Such creations encouraged improvisation, granting hosts a chance to demonstrate their creativity by introducing unexpected flavors and textures that sustained attention throughout the festivities. Number 6. Mini fondue stations. Mini fondue stations commonly featured compact burners, fueled by canned heat or small candles, ensuring gentle warmth beneath ceramic or enamel-coated pots. Household magazines provided detailed instructions for blending shredded Swiss varieties like Gruyere or Emmental with a splash of dry white wine, adjusting thickness with a pinch of cornstarch to prevent any oily sheen. Hosts often experimented with pairing mild cheeses alongside tiny bowls of finely chopped chives, minced dill, or grated nutmeg, encouraging nuanced flavor exploration. Equipment sets sold in department stores included color-coded fondue forks and miniature drip plates, making it easier for multiple guests to dip simultaneously without confusion. Bread cubes cut from firm baguettes became the traditional vehicle, but other morsels gained popularity. Blanched broccoli florets, delicate mushroom caps, peeled cherry tomatoes, or even cubes of cured ham. Some introduced marinated pearl onions or crisp apple wedges for contrast, carefully patting them dry to ensure sauces adhered smoothly. Advice columns from that era suggested maintaining a low flame and stirring gently in figure-8 motions to keep the mixture stable and lump-free. Certain party planners arranged multiple stations across the room, offering different flavor profiles. One pot heavily infused with white wine, another with a hint of mild ale, so guests could roam and compare. Decorative trivets and coordinating linen napkins elevated the presentation, signaling sophistication. Occasionally, a chocolate fondue variation appeared after savory courses, dipping fresh strawberries or marshmallows. Resourceful cooks reheated leftover cheese mixtures the following day to drizzle over steamed vegetables, wasting nothing. This style of entertaining welcomed spontaneity, allowing each participant to experiment freely while nurturing a convivial atmosphere steeped in culinary curiosity. Number 7. Smoked oysters on crackers. Smoked oysters on crackers benefited from a specific balance of textures and flavors, starting with uniformly packed tins sourced from regions known for mild brine levels and consistent smoke intensity. Hosts often blotted them gently with a clean cloth to remove excess oil before layering onto sturdy crackers that resisted sogginess. Butter crackers worked well, but some preferred whole grain varieties for a deeper, nuttier base. Spreading a thin layer of softened cream cheese or mascarpone beneath each oyster ensured better adhesion and a pleasant contrasting creaminess. Fine-grained lemon zest occasionally brightened the surface, cutting through richness and highlighting subtle sweetness in the oyster's flesh. In certain households, delicate threads of fresh dill or tiny capers lent complexity. offering savory counterpoints without overshadowing the natural smokiness. Mild horseradish, mixed with a touch of mayonnaise, created a gentle heat that complemented the oyster's brined profile. Garnishing techniques varied. Thinly sliced radishes or shaved fennel added crisp texture, while a light sprinkle of smoked paprika emphasized depth. Presentation involved meticulous spacing, ensuring guests could pick each piece without disturbing adjacent servings. Sometimes small lemon wedges accompanied the platter, allowing diners to squeeze a few drops of fresh juice just before eating. Vintage instructions suggested pairing these appetizers with dry white wines or crisp lagers to cleanse the palate between bites. Careful portioning guaranteed that each guest sampled at least one or two, and some resourceful hosts arranged them in concentric circles on polished silver trays. Such attention to detail encouraged savoring every mouthful, reflecting a period when appetizers conveyed both subtle luxury and thoughtful creativity. Number 8. Liver pâté shaped as festive figures. Molding finely pureed liver pâté into recognizable holiday symbols required careful preparation, beginning with selecting chicken or calf livers of consistent quality and removing any connective tissue before sautéing them gently in butter. After adding mild aromatics, such as shallots and thyme, cooks pureed the mixture until it reached a silky texture. Achieving a cohesive shape often involved blending in softened, unsalted butter and a modest splash of cognac or sherry, ensuring the pâté's texture stayed smooth and spreadable. To form detailed figures, some home entertainers chilled metal or ceramic molds featuring seasonal outlines, like evergreen trees, stars, or Santa hats, then lightly coated the interiors with a thin layer of clarified butter to prevent sticking. Once filled, these molds were pressed firmly to eliminate air pockets, covered tightly, and refrigerated until the pâté firmed to a sliceable consistency. Unmolding required careful handling. A brief warm cloth wrap along the mold's exterior helped loosen the edges. Garnishing played a significant role. Thin strips of roasted red pepper or finely minced parsley could define outlines, while pomegranate arils or edible gold leaf added visual highlights. Serveware ranged from polished wooden boards to reflective silver trays, often arranged with crisp crackers, crusty baguette slices, or delicate endive leaves. Light toppings like a whisper of freshly ground pink peppercorns contributed subtle warmth. Between servings, covering exposed pâté ensured it maintained its intended shape and flavor intensity. This artistic approach encouraged guests to appreciate the appetizer's aesthetic charm and meticulous crafting, making each decorative figure as much a conversation piece as a culinary indulgence. Number 9. Ornamental cheese and olive hedgehogs. Ornamental cheese and olive hedgehogs relied on sturdy cores fashioned from halved melons or carefully shaped styrofoam forms wrapped in foil, ensuring a solid base that held countless toothpicks loaded with alternating cubes of mild, semi-firm cheeses and plump, briny olives. Selecting varieties that held their shape without crumbling proved essential, prompting many hosts to choose medium cheddar, buttery Colby, or a mellow Gouda. Precision cutting produced uniform edges that aligned evenly with pimento-stuffed green olives or glossy black olives, achieving a visual rhythm and balanced flavors. Arranging toothpicks in concentric circles, each layer slightly overlapping the last, allowed these spiky surfaces to mimic the silhouette of a whimsical woodland creature. An occasional addition of small cocktail onions or vibrantly hued pickled peppers introduced subtle tang, contributing unexpected contrasts amid the cheese's creaminess and the olive's faint bitterness. Careful spacing prevented overcrowding, maintaining a clean pattern that guests could appreciate from multiple angles. Before presentation, many garnished the face area with a cluster of olives arranged to suggest eyes, or placed a clever edible accent, like a curled piece of carrot acting as a nose. Positioning the finished creation at eye level encouraged immediate conversation, turning a once ordinary appetizer into interactive edible art. Crisp crackers and slender breadsticks served nearby offered convenient bases for stacking, while decorative napkins and small plates ensured tidy snacking. Frequent rotation of the display platter kept it accessible from all sides. The allure lay not just in taste, but also in the visual delight, inviting guests to explore new flavor combinations with each toothpick removed. Number 10. Rumaki. Rumaki emerged from mid-century trends that encouraged blending delicate organ meats with unconventional sweet, salty pairings. Early recipes commonly featured chicken livers paired with sliced water chestnuts, chosen for their firm crunch against the velvety interior of the cooked liver. Before assembly, some cooks soaked the livers in a mild sherry-based mixture or a lightly seasoned broth to ensure they achieved a gentle depth without overpowering natural flavors. Cutting bacon strips into uniform lengths ensured neat wrapping, and inserting slender toothpicks at precise angles helped maintain structural integrity throughout cooking. Adjusting oven temperatures affected texture. Moderate heat preserved moisture in the liver, while a brief blast under a broiler crisped the bacon's exterior. Certain households replaced chicken livers with duck livers, or even scallops, testing new variations that appealed to evolving palates. Experimentation extended to subtle glazes, brushed on just before serving, sometimes incorporating a small amount of light honey, mild rice vinegar, or a thin reduction of fresh citrus juice. Presenting them in orderly rows on polished platters reflected a desire to impress guests who had grown accustomed to standard canapés. On some occasions, these bite-sized morsels were garnished with a whisper of finely chopped herbs or a few grains of coarse salt to highlight contrasting textures. In cookbook discussions, debates arose about whether to pre-cook the bacon slightly, thereby reducing shrinkage and ensuring more stable construction. Adjusting slice thickness of water chestnuts influenced the final mouthfeel, leading some hosts to prefer extra thin segments that compressed slightly when bitten, merging harmoniously with the softened liver beneath.